Have you ever had a last minute idea that you need to complete for a Christmas gift? Well, that is the case for me. Hey guys, if you don't know me, my name's Brock, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a last minute Christmas gift for your family member or your friends if they love woodworking, if they love food, or if they love anything to do with a kitchen. What I'm making is a live edge epoxy serving tray. So this is gonna have real nice handles, real nice feet, and it's gonna have the live edge of the oak wood that we're using here right now. So let's get started. First thing I'm doing here is just cutting off the piece I want to use. So for this piece, it's actually almost 14 feet long, but I'm only going to be using roughly 24 inches of this, or 2 feet. I don't know what that is in centimeters, so those of you outside of the US, if you can put a comment in on how this converts, that'd be great. So the piece is about 12 to 13 inches wide, depending on where you measure it at. And the issue is it's a little bit too long for the chop saw, so I just have to come back and use a handsaw to finish up the last little bit to get our piece to length. And yes, those were my glasses falling off my head in that scene right there. So what I'm going to do here is just show you and outline the 24 inches by 14 wide for the project. But what I'm also going to do is look for and circle any areas that I need to fill in. So you see right there, that's something where if there's a hole in a cutting board especially, or anything that's me handling food, you want to make sure you seal that up, because that's where bacteria can grow and really cause some dangerous issues if you consume off of it. Now I want to keep the live edge as natural as possible, and because this isn't a table, I don't really have to worry about it cracking on the edges or falling off, since there's not going to be a lot of weight on this. So I'm just cleaning up the edge lightly to get the dirt off and any sharp edges, but I don't want to take too much off, because if I do, I'll end up ruining the live edge look of the wood. Once the edges are cleaned up, I'm going to take 60 grit sandpaper and just sand the entire board, just to make sure there's no splinters and to see what cracks I have to fill in. As we talked about earlier, the way to fill the holes in is just to mix a little bit of wood glue and sawdust together. Once we let that dry, we'll be able to come back and sand it all off, and it will look good as new. Here, I do see there's a crack going down the middle and a few other cracks throughout the wood. Now, if this is a structural piece of wood like a table, I would really recommend putting in bow ties. But because this is just going to be a serving tray, mostly used to hold cheese and pepperoni and other meats like that, I'm not too concerned about this right now. Another interesting thing about bow ties is that they offer a very aesthetic look as well. So they are for structural purposes, but if you have a nice light piece of white oak like this, and you add a dark walnut bow tie, it can really dress up the piece. Just food for thought. Now once the pieces are dry, we can come back and sand off the extra glue and the extra sawdust. As you'll see here in a second, you can barely even tell where the pieces are actually at, and that's one of the benefits of keeping some of the sawdust that you have. I love having a clean shop, however, there is a good reason to have some dust on the floor. You can always put it back in your project and really save you in a time of need. Now earlier I used a piece of 60 grit sandpaper to sand up the entire piece of wood. But what I want to do is work up to 150 grit in smaller increments. So what I'm doing here is using a piece of chalk to cover the entire piece of wood. The benefit of this is that I ensure I sand all parts of the face here and I don't miss anything. Once I complete that, I'm going to be using my router to just touch up the edge of the piece of wood. So I'm not touching the live edge side, I'm only touching the two sides I cut. And this is just to make sure the wood doesn't break off, because sharp edges can break. But I don't want to take off too much, because if I do, it will ruin the integrity of the wood. Now any good woodworker knows when you're sanding, you have to make sure you do a desk pop. No, I'm just kidding, not a desk pop, just a water popping. So what we're doing here is raising the grain by soaking the wood. And what we'll do is let this dry for about 15 to 20 minutes. Ideally you can wait longer, but I only wait a short time because I like to get my projects going. And then I'm going to come back and continue the sanding process. So this is where things get really interesting. I love Amazon, I really do. However, when you buy pieces from Amazon, make sure you buy your own screws, because I bought these beautiful handles from Amazon, and like I said, they're great. They're beautiful. They're brass. I love them to death. They look great in the end. I'm going to spoil it for you. However, the screws they gave were not good at all. They scrapped very easily. So I recommend, if you don't want a headache, make sure you buy your own screws. Now, with that being said, what I'm doing here is making sure these are on the center. And the issue is that when you have a live edge board, it's not straight like a 2x4 where it's the same width throughout the length of the board. It follows the natural grain of the wood and how the tree grew. So some areas are slightly wider and some are slightly shorter. So at one end, I have roughly 12 inches wide, but at my far end, it's slightly wide at around 12.5 to 13. So what I'm doing here is measuring both sides. However, I'm also using a visual lineup because the whole idea is that it might be mathematically in the center. However, if it visually looks off, you're going to notice that. So I'm all for measuring, but sometimes you just have to use your eye and measure things with your eye. Now what I'm doing here is drilling a pilot hole. So as we saw before, wood grain, especially in live edge wood, because this was dried out in the sun, has a tendency to crack. And if you don't pre-drill your wood, it can cause some issues. So after pre-drilling those holes, I'm putting in the screws from Amazon, which were the bane of my existence. Now, just when I thought everything was going smoothly, the project was coming along very nicely, I didn't have any issues, I ran into a very, very big problem. And that was when I was tightening up this handle, I heard something, and I didn't think I heard what I actually heard, but I heard a crack. And I was wondering, there's no way this could have cracked. This is over an inch thick of white oak. But as I would have it, big problem, it cracked. Not the end of the world, but what we had to do is go back and actually plane the whole project down. So you'll see there's a crack on the far side, which is what I'm doing here, is planing it down so I can get a little bit lower. All the work of sanding I did was kind of a pain and didn't really help, but it is what it is. You know what, we bounce back from projects, it's not the end of the world. But the reason why people ask me why I did this was that I want to get as close as I can to the crack, to put some glue in there, sand it back up, and then put a layer of epoxy over it. Once again, this is not a structural project, so I don't need to put a bow tie, but I do want to add some wood glue in there to make sure it stays and is very secure for the time being. So this is where my favorite part of the project comes in, and that's putting on the tabletop epoxy. I personally think tabletop epoxy is one of the easiest ones to use because it's just a one-to-one mixture. It dries quickly and pretty reasonably without too many bubbles. So what I did here is I first soaked the containers of epoxy in warm water for about 20 minutes, and that makes it a little bit easier, especially if you keep them in your garage and it's a little bit colder. And then I mixed the two together just in a disposable plastic container. Now I will give you fair warning that I should be using gloves here, and I'm really not, so you'll see that I'm actually touching the epoxy with my hands, which is something I don't recommend doing. It didn't end up hurting me in the end, but they always say all this stuff can really be poor for your skin, so if in a couple weeks I lose my hand, you guys know exactly what happened. Now after about 24 hours, we're going to come back and look at the board and we're going to see it's fine, but I like to give it 48 hours just to be sure. You make sure your epoxy is fully cured before you go back to sand it or to scrape it off. Now on the bottom side, you're going to get these little drips, which is normal, and what I'm doing is just taking a chisel, scraping off the excess pieces, and then I'm going to come back and sand any smaller pieces just to make sure it's nice and smooth. Once we have this, all it is a matter of adding the feet, which is just putting 4 screws in, and then adding the handles back on, and we're all set. And there you have it, an epoxy serving tray. Wishing you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.